Now look, emotions are, before discussing the type of emotional intelligence, there is a need to discuss the importance of emotions in our life and the intelligence which it plays the part in our life. What are emotions? If we come to the emotions, they are present in every like part of our life. They are present in everywhere, like in our decisions and in our judgment. And emotionally intelligent people, when we come to emotionally intelligent people, then they are defined as emotionally intelligent people recognize that this, it means the emotionally intelligent people are those people who recognize that their emotions are involved in their every activity, in their every action, in their every decision, in their judgment. And what they do, they, when emotionally intelligent people recognize this fact about the importance and the involvement of emotions in their actions, in their thoughts, and in their judgments, and in their decisions, what they do, look here, in their thinking, what they do, they try to manage their emotions rather than being managed by them. In the course of last 2 decades, what have happened, that emotional intelligence concept has become very important indicator of person's knowledge, skills and abilities in workplace, school and in personal life. For over 2 decades, it means that a work has been done to understand the concept of emotional intelligence. Why the importance has been given to emotional intelligence? Because of the criticism on emotional, the concept of intelligence, which is known as EQ. Like, why? Because the emotional intelligence is more than emotion intelligent quotient or EQ. That's why for more than 2 decades the work has been done on this concept to explain it properly. Like, this concept has become very important indicator of person's knowledge, person's skills and abilities which he or she uses in workplace, in education institutions like in schools and personal life. The overall result of the researches which have been done on the importance and the explanation of the emotional intelligence have suggested that emotional intelligence plays a significant role in job performance, in the process of the motivation of a person, in the process of decision making, and in the successful management and leadership qualities. So, thus applying emotional intelligence methodology in higher education, it can have lots of benefits for the students. It not only fulfills their desire, but also makes them more efficient in their field. Like work of Dr. Manu Ranjan is one of a wonderful work which I have studied on emotional intelligence. It's a thesis, in fact, on the importance and the overview of the emotional intelligence is this. Like a paragraph which I have presented on the first slide on the introduction of intelligence, I have taken from Dr. Manu Ranjan's thesis on overview of emotional intelligence. Why? Because there are different type of the definitions of the intelligence. They obviously we will do, but first of all is a students of positive psychology, and today we have taken to understand this concept of emotional intelligence in positive psychology. I thought to include these lines to understand that emotional intelligence is something which is very much necessary. Like, this is an intelligence which is associated with the use of emotions, and this is an intelligence which is associated with the management of emotions and realization of the emotions of your own and of other people who are associated with you. It means that you will become able to understand your emotions, you will be able to manage them and to control them, and similarly you will be able to recognize the emotional states of another individual. And when you would be able to have such type of an intelligence which is called emotional intelligence, your success will exceed, you will mark like your success in every part of your life. this part is your professional life, it is your academic life, or it is your personal life, then if you are an intelligent person and you are emotional intelligence, again it means that you would be able to realize and understand and manage and recognize and control what the emotions of yours and others. This would be a wonderful, what can be said, this is a wonderful type of an intelligence which will help you to succeed in every part of your life. Why? Because emotions are present in every part of our life, in every action and in our every decision and judgment and in our thinking. So if we define emotional intelligence, how it is defined: emotional intelligence, according to American Psychological Association's Dictionary of Psychology, it is defined as a type of intelligence that involves the ability to process emotional information and use it in reasoning and other cognitive activities. Like intelligence is what? Intelligence is reasoning. Intelligence is about cognitive activities. Intelligence is the higher form of processes, and then it is associated with emotions. This is called emotional intelligence. Why? Because a type of intelligence, now look, this is the simplest definition, it's a type of intelligence that involves the ability to process emotional information and use it in reasoning and other cognitive activities. Okay, so when we come to the further explanation of emotional intelligence, emotional intelligence, which is called EQ, and it is also called EI. Emotional intelligence, which is EI or EQ, is the ability to understand, use and manage your emotions in positive ways, to relieve stress, to communicate effectively and positively, to emphasize with others, overcome challenges, and diffuse conflicts. Now, this is a type of intelligence which, if individual have, then he or she would be able to understand, to use, to manage one's own emotions in a positive and constructive way. In this positive and constructive way of use of emotional intelligence will help to relieve stress. This will help to communicate effectively. Why? Because if you are able to understand the emotions and process them effectively, then you can communicate very positively and effectively without getting in anger or without creating any kind of conflicts. And emphasize with others, overcome challenges. This will help us to overcome the challenges and diffuse conflicts. Meaning this will help us to reduce the conflicts and to diffuse, in fact, the conflicts rather than creating conflicts. Emotional intelligence helps you build stronger relationships, succeed at school and work, and achieve your career and personal goals. You are, for example, if you are an emotionally intelligent person, you would be able to make stronger relationships. Why? Because you would be able to control your own emotions and you would be able to realize the emotional states of another individual. So you would deal accordingly. You would be very well aware that how you have to deal, how you have to manage this state which is emotional, and you will succeed at school, work, and achieve your career and personal goals. Why? Because we human beings are in fact the emotional beings, and we are full of emotion. So if we are at a school, if we are at academic institutions, it means if we are at work, if we are at home, if we are at our friends in social situations, we would be able to understand the emotions, emotional connectedness, and will lead our relations accordingly, would deal and carry our relations accordingly. Now, emotional intelligence is commonly defined by four attributes. There are four different type of the characteristics or the attributes which are said that they are the part of emotional intelligence. First of all, what is the first important attribute of an emotional intelligence? This is self-management. Now, self-management is the control of impulsive feelings and behaviors. Manage your emotions in healthy ways, take initiative, follow through on commitments and adapt to changing circumstances. You are able to manage yourself. It means that you are able to what? You don't have to be impulsive. You have to control impulsive feelings and behaviors and manage your emotions in healthy ways. Managing emotions in healthy ways, it means, for example, if you are in anger, what you have to be? Would you burst in anger, or you would realize that right now you are feeling the emotion of anger, so you have to manage it in a very healthy way rather than becoming destructive. You have to be constructive. You have to take some kind of initiatives, thinking. You have to, when intelligence is there, it means that you are making your intelligence, you are using your intelligence and managing your emotions. That's why it is called emotional intelligence. You will take initiative and follow through on commitments and adapt to change circumstances. Adaptation is one of the good characteristics of an individual in self-management. Second, we are coming to another attribute of emotional intelligence. This is called self-awareness. How aware you are about yourself. Do you recognize your own emotions? And this is how they affect your thoughts and behavior. If you are aware of your emotions, you are aware of the like emotional states, then at time what will you do? You recognize your own emotions and how they affect your thoughts, how they affecting on your behavior. You know your strengths and weaknesses and have self-confidence. Now it means that you are very well aware of the emotions you are in, and you know that how you have to like how they are affecting on your thoughts and in behavior. So you would be aware that you have to recognize your own emotions and the way they are affecting on your thoughts and behavior. When you would be aware, you would be very like rich about your emotional information, and you will be at that time you will know that these are your strengths and weaknesses, and you will get self-confidence in managing those emotions and in dealing with those emotional states. The third attribute of emotional state is called social awareness. You have empathy. You can understand the emotions, needs and concerns of other people. When empathy is coming, it means that you are talking about others emotions and others needs, and how much concerned you are about others. This could be awareness about other people's. This is called social awareness. Pick up on emotional cues, feel comfortable socially, and recognize the power dynamics in a group or organization. When you would be socially aware of the social situations at the particular time, you would be, what you have to do if you are an emotionally intelligent person, you can understand, for example, you have empathy, and then you can understand the emotions, needs and concerns of other persons. Empathy is a very positive personality characteristic where you empathize with others emotional states in their conditions, and you will just what will you do at that time? You will use your intelligence, emotional intelligence, and will recognize the different emotional cues which will be there. Okay, so now we are coming to the fourth attribute of emotional intelligence. This is called relationship management. Emotions are all about humans, and emotional relationships are the fact of human's life. Now the relationships obviously are the fact of life. So like from self-management to self-awareness, social awareness, and now then relationship management. Self-management, now relationship management. If you are able to manage yourself, you would be able enough to manage the relationship. If you would be able, or you are aware of the self, then you would better be aware of social awareness also. Relationship management, you know how to develop and maintain good relationships, communicate clearly, inspire and influence other, work well in a team, and manage conflict. This is what is called relationship management. How will you manage the relationships? When you would try to develop and maintain good relationships, obviously those can only be maintained Good relationships can only be maintained if you are emotionally intelligent. You are realizing the others, you are realizing their emotional like states and their moods and the whole like systems where they are, and you are communicating clearly and inspiring and influencing others, and you are working well in a team in managing conflicts. These four are important attributes of emotional intelligence. Emotional intelligence, I tell you, is a big concept. This cannot be in understood in a one class. This cannot, we cannot understand it in a one class, but I have just tried to give you some important points so that you at least can come to know the definition of emotional intelligence or few attributes of emotional intelligence, that these things if we have, we are emotionally intelligent. You can recognize these things in yourself. You can match yourself with these attributes, that whether these things are existing in the environment where you are living or with you, do you have these attributes of intelligence. So if you have these emotional attributes, it means that you are emotionally intelligent. I obviously will give another lecture on emotional intelligence for further explanation of emotional intelligence. Today we are just describing it and trying to understand its concept. Why is emotional intelligence so important? The question arises, why is emotional intelligence so important? Why is it important? There are different type or different aspects of the life where emotional intelligence is more workable and more like productive than the IQ. Why? Because, for example, if we think of IQ, there are people who are very much successful in their professional lives or at the work they are doing. But sometimes, what happens when we you come to know about their personal lives or about their relationships, about their commitments and their like communications, we find them at failure. We find that these people in their personal lives and in their relationships, they are completely failed. Why? Because they only have instrumental type of an understanding or like intelligence, which is called IQ. They can be intelligent at some like task, but they are not overall intelligent. It means they do not have this emotional intelligence. So why is emotional intelligence so important? Because your performance at school or work is related with emotional intelligence. Sometimes we think that highly intelligent persons can excel well in everywhere, in every sphere of the life. This is not true. हाईली इंटेलिजेंट पर्सन्स जो हैं वो किसी पर्टिकुलर इंटेलिजेंट की सिर्फ बात कर रही हूँ, इमोशनल इंटेलिजेंट नहीं कह रही हूँ. इंटेलिजेंट पीपल्स हम देखते हैं वो बहुत उनकी परफॉर्मेंस बहुत बेहतरीन आ जाती है, उनके ग्रेड्स बहुत अच्छे आ जाते हैं, उनके किसी खास जो मतलब टास्क होती है, टास्क ओरिएंटेड कोई काम हो, प्रोफेशनल लाइफ हो, तो वहाँ पे उनकी बहुत बड़े बड़े पोस्ट पे वो पर्सन बैठे हुए होते हैं. इट मीन्स के दायरे वो उस काम के जो है वो एक्सपर्ट्स होते हैं. लेकिन जब हम उनकी पर्सनल लाइफ के लिए जब हम उनको देखते हैं, जब हम उनके रिलेशनशिप्स की लाइफ को देख रहे होते हैं, जब हम उनकी फ्रेंडशिप्स देख रहे होते हैं, तो वहाँ ऑर्गेनाइजेशंस में ही जहाँ पे वो काम कर रहे होते हैं, वहाँ पे उनके बहुत ज्यादा कन्फ्लिक्ट्स होते हैं. और वो कन्फ्लिक्ट्स क्यों होते हैं? क्योंकि वो EQ तो उनका बहुत बेहतरीन होता है, वो टास्क जो है उसके ऊपर या किसी काम के ऊपर या जो जॉब होती है उसमें तो वो बेहतरीन होंगे, लेकिन इमोशनली इंटेलिजेंट नहीं होते हैं. तो दैट्स वाई उनकी ओवरऑल जो एक आप देखेंगे परफॉर्मेंस जो है या ओवरऑल उनकी जो एक होनी चाहिए परफॉर्मेंस इंटेलिजेंट होने की वजह से, वो नहीं होती. और उनकी पर्सनल लाइफ जो है वो भी फेल्यूअर्स मोस्ट ऑफ द टाइम ऑफन जो है वो इसी तरह से होती हैं, हम देख रहे होते हैं. तो हमें ये होता है कि इंटेलिजेंट तो बहुत है, लेकिन फिर ये क्यों नहीं है कि इनके इतने प्रॉब्लम्स कैसे हैं? तो फिर ये क्वेश्चन का जवाब ये है कि वो इंटेलिजेंट है, इमोशनली इंटेलिजेंट नहीं होते हैं. इमोशनल इंटेलिजेंस your performance and your performance at school or work में किस तरह से करती है. High emotional intelligence can help you navigate the social complexities of the workplace, lead and motivate others, and excel in your career. Why? Because in fact, when it comes to gauging important job candidates, many companies now rate emotional intelligence as important as technical ability and imply emotional quotient testing before hiring. What the companies are the like other organizations which are hiring the implies what they do before hiring. They give test of emotional intelligence to the individuals to measure that whether they are emotionally intelligent or not, because they have accepted the importance of emotional intelligence, that the person who is having the degree, the person who is having higher grades, who is having A grade marks, they are having good number of workshops, but when they enter they have to give the test of emotional intelligence to know that whether they are emotionally intelligent or not. If they would be emotionally intelligent, they will perform well in organization, otherwise they will not. This is the importance of emotional intelligence at workplace and school, that they can perform well, they can manage, they can work better if they are emotionally intelligent. Then this is also connected with the physical health of individual. If you are unable to manage your emotions, you are probably not managing your stress either. For example, stress occurs because of like burdens, different kind of burdens and frustrations and unachieved goals in our lives. What happens at that time? If you would be emotionally intelligent, you would cope up with this stress. Okay, you will manage that stress rather than becoming like aggressive, rather than becoming angry, rather than becoming depressed. What will happen if you are emotionally intelligent? You will realize that because of frustrations, because of burden of the life, this stress is occurring. I am facing some kind of a stress, and what I have to do, I have to cool down, I have to regulate my emotions, I have to manage them, and this way you would be able to manage your stress too. This can lead to serious health problems if you as an individual, if we as an individual becomes unable to manage our stresses. Uncontrolled stress raises blood pressure, it suppresses the immune system, and increase the risk of heart attacks and strokes, and contributes to infertility and speeds up the aging process. Why? Because for the stress is very powerful, damaging, and fatal type of something which destroys at molecular level. Our body, it destroys at our molecular level. It destroys. It causes different kind of the diseases and different kind of health related problem. So emotionally intelligent person would be able to manage stress and to get rid from all these different kind of health related issues. The first step is to improve emotional intelligence, is to learn how to manage stress. It means that if you are able to manage stress, you are emotionally intelligent, and this is the first step to use your emotional intelligence. Then again, mental health. First we discussed emotional intelligence in relation with physical health, and now we are discussing it in relation with our mental health. So now what happens here, that uncontrolled emotions and stress can also impact our mental health simultaneously. Stress influences and affects our mental and physical health, making us vulnerable to anxiety, and to depression, and to other like mental health issues. If we are unable to understand, get comfortable with, or manage our emotions, we will also struggle to form a strong relationship. This in turn can leave you feeling lonely and isolated, and further exacerbate any mental health problems. So this is where this can also play its role, where it will play its role in our mental health. For example, this is something which is like related with our mental health. This is related to our physical health. It is related with our performance, whether it is performance at school or at like any job, and in our relationships. The main thing is here. Emotional intelligence is related or it affects on our relationships. By understanding our relationships, your emotions, and how to control them, you are better able to express how you feel and understand how others are feeling. For example, by understanding your emotions, if as an individual, if you understand your emotions and how to control them, obviously we will be better able to feel how we feel and understand others feelings are. This will allow us to communicate more effectively and forge stronger relationships both at work and in personal life. At work, we obviously work or organizations are again, they are the social systems. Social systems mean where there would be the people, there would be the relationships, and when there are the relationships, it means those relationships can be understood and carried better in a better way, and can be developed and make them good by being emotionally intelligent, by controlling emotions which are not positive, and by making communications effective communications and understanding the others relationships, others emotions. Your social intelligence. Now, what is social intelligence? For example, read this slide. Being in tune with your emotions serves a social purpose, connecting you to other people in the world around you. Social intelligence, which is again the part of emotional intelligence, enables us to recognize friend from foe, measure another person's interest in you, reduces stress, balance your nervous system through social communication, and feel loved and happy. When you are in a social situation, there are the people and you are having friendships with them, or you are quite able to realize that who is your friend and who is not, and measure or understand another person's interest within you and your interest within other persons, and reduces the stress, and this can balance your nervous system. Because in the next lecture on emotional intelligence, I will tell you that there is a great differences. There are great differences in the nervous system, in the brain of those persons who are emotionally intelligent and who are not. So the emotional intelligence also have its neurological and biological basis, that how they are different. But by recognizing these attributes of emotional intelligence and understanding the definition of emotional intelligence and being aware of the concept of emotional intelligence, we at least can try to perform different kind of exercises and worksheets on emotional intelligence, and can develop this in ourselves too. This is all about emotional intelligence in today's lecture. In the next lecture, I again will start from emotional intelligence to tell you something more about this concept in positive psychology field, especially because this is we are discussing emotional intelligence in positive psychology. So we have to form a relationship of emotional intelligence and positive psychology. If you have any question, please ask. If you have any kind of a question, वो आप मुझसे पूछ सकते हैं. अब आप पूछ सकते हो, unmute कर सकते हो, unmute yourself if you feel any difficulty in understanding the lecture and in understanding the concept. So please ask question. Do you have any question?
No, ma'am, not
No.
right now.
नो ओके ओके. इसका मतलब है आपको कुछ समझ नहीं आता तभी आप क्वेश्चन नहीं कर रहे हो, या बिल्कुल आ रहा होता है तभी नहीं कर रहे हो?
मैम इसको आप YouTube पे डालेंगे तो पढ़ के और समझेंगे, अगर नहीं आएगा तो फिर आपसे पूछ लेंगे.
ठीक है. ओके,
वैसे अभी तो समझ में आया.
ओके चलें, ठीक है. ओके ओके ओके. अल्लाह हाफिज.
अल्लाह.
Okay, well, after.